Did you know that 73% of parents believe their children should have perfect manners by age 5? But here's the shocking part. Only about 10% of those kids actually grow up using those manners consistently. So, why does teaching manners seem so difficult for so many parents? It turns out, there are some surprising mistakes many parents make without even realizing it. And these mistakes can actually make it harder for your child to learn good manners. From expecting instant results to overcorrecting bad behavior, there's a lot more to teaching manners than most people think. In this video, we're diving into 6 common mistakes parents make when teaching manners, and more importantly, how you can avoid them. You'll learn simple strategies that work and how to create lasting habits in your child's behavior. Stick around for the tips that will change the way you approach teaching your child the importance of kindness and respect. Chapter 1. The Manners Myth. Expecting instant perfection. One of the biggest mistakes parents make when teaching manners is expecting their children to be perfect right away. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that after a few lessons, kids should instantly say, please, and thank you, like pros. However, studies show that children develop social skills in stages. According to child development expert Dr. Jane Nelson, children need repetition and time to internalize the rules of good behavior. Learning manners is a slow process, and like any skill, it requires practice. Expecting perfection too soon can lead to frustration, for both you and your child. Instead, focus on small, manageable goals. If your child forgets to say, "Excuse me," in a moment of excitement, that's normal. Acknowledge the mistake and gently remind them. Over time, these reminders will become automatic. Realistic expectations are key. According to a study by the University of California, children under the age of 5 often struggle with social cues and require a lot of reinforcement. So, instead of expecting instant results, celebrate the progress your child makes, even if it's small. The important thing is to remain patient and consistent. Encouraging a growth mindset also helps children understand that mistakes are part of the learning process. When kids realize they don't have to be perfect, they feel more comfortable trying again. So, remember, teach them with patience, and allow room for mistakes. It's not about being perfect, it's about improvement. Chapter 2. Mirror, Mirror. The mistake of not modeling proper behavior. A major mistake parents make is failing to model the manners they want their kids to learn. Children are like little sponges, they soak up everything they see. If you're not using good manners yourself, how can you expect your child to? In fact, studies have shown that children learn by imitating their parents more than they do from direct teaching. Dr. Michael Thompson, a child psychologist and author, explains, children are constantly observing their parents' behavior. What they see will become what they do. If you want your child to say, thank you, or hold the door for others, you need to model these behaviors in your daily life. It's that simple. In real life, this means saying, please, and, excuse me, in conversations, respecting others, and showing kindness to everyone you meet. Research from the Harvard Center on the Developing Child highlights that modeling positive social behavior significantly increases the likelihood that your child will develop those same habits. Don't just tell your child, use your manners, and expect them to understand. Show them what that looks like in action. Children learn best through example, not lectures. For instance, when you're talking to someone, say, please, and, thank you, naturally in your conversations. When your child sees you doing it, they'll start doing it too. By practicing what you preach, you'll be setting a foundation for lifelong good manners in your child. This isn't just about being polite, it's about creating a respectful environment where good behavior becomes the norm. Chapter 3. The do as I say, not as I do trap. Have you ever told your child to speak kindly while you're raising your voice or using a harsh tone? Or maybe you've reminded your child to respect others while gossiping about someone in front of them. This is what we call the do as I say, not as I do trap, and it's one of the most damaging mistakes in teaching manners. The problem here is that children are incredibly perceptive. They pick up on inconsistencies in behavior and are more likely to mimic what they see rather than follow verbal instructions. According to a study published in Child Development Perspectives, children develop social skills based on what they observe in their primary caregivers. If you're not walking the walk, your child won't talk the talk. Research also shows that children are more likely to exhibit respectful behavior when they see it modeled in their environment. The American Psychological Association found that children who are exposed to consistent positive behavior from their parents are more likely to show empathy and respect to others. This proves that actions speak louder than words. It's not enough to simply instruct your child on proper behavior, you must consistently practice those behaviors yourself. If you're impatient with others, your child might mirror that impatience. If you're rude to a store clerk, your child might learn that disrespectful behavior is acceptable. In your role as a parent, you're the first teacher, and your actions create the blueprint for your child's behavior. So, check yourself before you expect your child to check their manners. If you want your child to grow into someone who shows empathy and respect, start by showing them those qualities every day. The key takeaway here? Practice what you preach. Consistency between your words and actions is the foundation of teaching good manners. If you're enjoying these tips, don't forget to subscribe for more practical parenting strategies that really work. Chapter 4. The Overcorrection. Why too much focus on manners hurts. It's easy to fall into the trap of overcorrecting your child when they make a mistake with their manners. You might feel the need to point out every little slip-up, but this can lead to frustration, anxiety, and resistance. According to child psychologist Dr. Laura Markham, when we overcorrect, children become focused on their mistakes rather than on how to do better next time. Instead of creating a positive learning experience, too much correction can make manners feel like a chore. Instead of overcorrecting, try focusing on positive reinforcement. When your child does something right, praise them for it. For example, if your child remembers to say, "Thank you," without being prompted, let them know how proud you are of them. Research from the University of Toronto suggests that positive reinforcement not only boosts a child's self-esteem but also encourages them to repeat the desired behavior. While it's important to point out mistakes, it's just as vital to show your child that you're proud of their progress. Celebrate the wins, no matter how small. You'll notice that by doing this, your child becomes more motivated to use their manners correctly next time. Striking a balance is key. If you correct your child too much, it may lead to them feeling that manners are something to be avoided rather than embraced. By focusing on what your child is doing right and offering gentle reminders for improvement, you're teaching them that learning manners is a positive and ongoing journey. Remember, manners don't need to be perfect, they just need to improve over time. Small steps forward are just as important as getting it right every time. When you correct less and encourage more, your child will begin to develop the confidence to practice their manners with pride. Chapter 5. The Punishment Trap. Using consequences for manners. Punishing children for poor manners might seem like an effective solution, but it often backfires. When children associate bad behavior with punishment, they start to see manners as something they have to do, not something they want to do. According to Dr. Jane Nelson's book Positive Discipline, punishment creates fear, and fear never leads to the internalization of good behavior. Studies show that children who experience harsh discipline are more likely to develop defiant behavior. A study by the American Psychological Association found that children subjected to corporal punishment are more likely to act aggressively and struggle with self-regulation. The problem with punishment is that it doesn't teach the reason behind the behavior, it just enforces compliance out of fear. Instead of using punishment, try focusing on natural consequences. For instance, if your child forgets to say, "Thank you," you might say, "When you don't thank someone, it can make them feel unappreciated." This encourages empathy and helps your child understand the emotional impact of their actions. Another approach is to use positive reinforcement and rewards. For example, if your child uses their manners consistently for a week, reward them with a fun activity or extra screen time. This makes the learning process feel like a positive experience rather than a task to be endured. Consequences don't need to be harsh to be effective. In fact, studies from the Child Development Institute suggest that children who experience positive, non-punitive consequences are more likely to develop respectful, responsible behavior. The goal is not to make your child fear you but to help them understand the importance of kindness and respect toward others. By moving away from punishment and focusing on rewards and natural consequences, you'll encourage your child to develop good manners because they want to, not because they have to. Chapter 6. The Magic of Real-Life Practice. Waiting for the right moment. One of the best ways to teach your child manners is by taking advantage of real-life situations. While it's great to talk about manners at home, nothing beats the power of putting them into practice in everyday life. Whether you're at the grocery store, at a family gathering, or at a restaurant, these are all perfect opportunities to reinforce good manners. Real-life practice gives children a chance to understand how manners are used in different contexts. According to Dr. Daniel Siegel, a neuroscientist and author of The Whole Brain Child, children's brains are wired to learn best through hands-on, real-world experience. This means that your child will learn far more about manners when they're actively practicing them, not just hearing about them. For example, when you're at a restaurant, you can remind your child to say, "Please," when ordering their food and "Thank you," when the server brings it. If you're at a family gathering, encourage your child to say, "Excuse me," if they need to get someone's attention. These small moments are ideal for practicing manners and reinforce the idea that they matter in every part of life. Additionally, real-life practice builds confidence. When children get to use their manners in public, they start to feel proud of themselves. A study from the University of North Carolina found that children who regularly practiced their social skills in real-world settings were more likely to develop strong emotional intelligence and interpersonal skills. Don't wait for the perfect moment, create them. If you're at a playground, encourage your child to wait their turn instead of pushing ahead. If you're talking to a neighbor, ask your child to say, "Hello," and make eye contact. These are all small but powerful opportunities to practice manners that will last a lifetime. By incorporating manners into everyday life, you're helping your child learn that good behavior isn't something that only happens in specific situations, it's a part of how we interact with the world. So, look for those teachable moments, and remember that practice makes perfect. If you found these strategies helpful, make sure to subscribe for more tips on parenting and raising kids who are confident and respectful. Thanks for watching.